love sweet God magnet. Love just to tell you don't you grab it.
Well, beloved Dr. Stone.
Welcome to Lobster Magnets Review, the channel, the review. I'm here with my buddy Gorogregoro.
That's Lobster Magnet.
Yep, and we are here to talk about our favorite Stone Age manga that has replaced, everyone's favorite modern Stone Age family, because the Flintstones can go fuck themselves. It is all about the Dr. Stone. So, Greg, this chapter... Yabba dabba doo. Or, the funniest thing is, now every time I read it, I can't get your Sekku voice out of my head.
It's a good Sekku voice.
I want to do more live reactions just as an excuse for you to continue to do your voice of him.
I want to do a voice impression of Suiku now. Suiku.
Well, how would you imagine? How do you think she sounds?
Let me look at some dialogue of her.
Just I'm just. We're gonna use science as bait to get companions.
I imagine she'd be like, Ace Detective Suika.
Not you need a little work on that. You need a little work on that.
Ace Detective Suika.
Getting there. It still does not win my heart as your Sekku's. But this chapter was exactly what I want from this series. It was a very low stakes, low fun chapter of him on a quest to win people over with the power of science. So we get to see Ace Detective Suiku, and I thought she was just going to come out of her thing, but nope, she just rolls around town and listens to everyone talking.
Why do you think she was going to come out of the thing? That's part of her character.
I just thought she was, and she was going to look different, and the idea is that because she looks so different, that would be her way of camouflaging.
No, you saw the whole thing where she pops into her own watermelon head though.
Yeah. No, I did like it. I liked it a lot. I'm amazed how much she's growing on me, because I kind of hated her at first, and now I'm finding her kind of adorable and tolerable and useful, and I'm amazed about how quickly she's my opinion is being swayed, and then she goes around to the old so funny, the garnet sapphire, and I just can't think of are these the Japanese version of the Steven Universe gems? Is that what we're getting? Should I make a thumbnail where I just put the Steven Universe gem faces over them to as a desperate attempt to try and clickbait shit?
Oh my god, baby, yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
Exactly. I'm gonna make a whole video about why the Dr. Stone garnet sapphire and ruby, or garnet sapphire and Pearl, are 10 times better than the one in Steven Universe, even though they've only existed for 2 chapters. And all we know about them is that they're the hot girls of the village.
Well, alright, that probably isn't true, but I mean, that'd be just kind of a funny thing to do, I guess. Yeah,
it would be a fun shit posting thing to do. Because, I don't think Dr. Stone is even popular enough to have its own subreddit. That's how you know when you're starting to build a fan presence, when people have to, make a subreddit for people to go talk about it. Or, I don't know, maybe there is one. Let me go double check. I'm 100% sure there isn't. Dr. Stone. No, there is no Dr. Stone subreddit. So, Dr. Stone will hit the main time when you actually see it, have a subreddit.
Do you think Dr. Stone is slightly influenced by American Rick and Morty show at all?
How? In what way? How would it be?
I mean, Sekku is kind of like Rick in some weird way.
Yeah, but he's a positive scientist, and he also as many creative flourishes there are in the series, it's still bound by conventional science. Sekku isn't fucking using interdimensional portals and building universes and universes to power a car battery.
But how many mangas have we seen of scientists who are kind of do off the wall things to get their way, and he acts kind of like this devious maniac, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's his whole sort of kind of to give him the appearance of an edgy character, even though everything he does is they even poked fun of it, where Kohaku was like, why are you saying everything so evilly when you're just making people delicious food?
Yeah, I really love that line. It's just
Really.
like that back and forth. It's like, we're gonna win the country over with ramen.
With ramen, we're gonna make science. This is the science. I loved it. I loved it. Like, food is like the incredible thing. I love the, like, we're gonna use the wheat flour grain. I love the whole process of, like, flushing the grain to get rid of all the unnecessary particles, and then grounding it down into dough.
It sounds very similar to that show you were talking, or that manga you were talking about cooking.
Yeah. It wasn't quite in depth in terms of the cooking, but yeah, it had the exact same sort of appeal, the Shokugeki no Soma, where it's like, well, no, I love all these interesting details about how you're going to make ramen from scratch. And of course, like the great panel where, like, Chrome loves it, of course, but like Sekku's like, oh wow, this is terrible. It's dry and tasteless and bland.
But for these savages, this'll do.
This'll do. It's nothing compared to the real thing. And then he's just, like, armed with his little push cart with ramen to, like, this is the food created with science. And I'm like so ingenious with it. Like I love it. I love it. Like the little Shokugeki crossover, the fact that he's, like, using the incredible power of, like, modern science to introduce foods that are, like, completely foreign. And, like, honestly, like, the whole manga, I could have 50 chapters of him just, like, figuring out how to make, current foods in, like, the primitive stone world. I would be happy. I would be happy. That's all the series could be, and I would be perfectly happy.
Like, these series of chapters, the last few series of chapters have been pretty great with Dr. Stone. Like, this whole cooking sequence, like coming up with a strategy, like to win the village over, it's brilliant. I love it.
It's great. It's fantastic. Like this is what the series needs to be. It needs to be like lo-fi, interesting problems. Using the power of science in like little creative, like Bill Nye friendly ways. That you dumb schmucks like us are too lazy to find out about. So we can think like it's so smart when he's like listing off these things. And it's great. And I even love the whatchamacallit, the arithmetic battle side story at the end.
Yeah.
I'm almost amazed that they didn't have that in the real manga.
I love how they throw in those little factoids about like how to do quick multiplication with two-digit numbers, like in such a specific way. Like, if the lower digits add up to 10, and if the higher digits like are the same, then you can do this trick in order to multiply these numbers.
I like that a lot because I had no idea that was a thing, and it feels like the kind of thing that they would like teach in like Genius Academy for like little kids who were like in like academic decathlons.
And I love how Chrome is like it's like powering up this giant like
that was great. 8 times.
This fucking KO cannon like spirit bomb thing of like 88 times or 83 times 87. Ah!
I would, God, if I was in like high school or middle school and reading this, Dr. Stone would be my favorite, and I would totally be getting into like a STEM field career. I would like that. That's like the energy, enthusiasm of this manga is infectious, and like I could definitely see if I like found this at a younger age that it would be like hugely influential to me, and I would think it's the best thing ever. And then I would be like, just so I can learn arithmetic, and like I hate this, but I could be like use it in arithmetic battles, and it's so usle. 8 times 8. This cow cannon.
Yeah.
It was great.
It really feels like the Bill Nye of manga, or the yeah. Bill Nye of manga, that's what I meant.
Yeah, and it's like holding up really well. Oh my god, getting rid of like Primate Guy and Endurance Guy and Crafts Girl was like the best thing that could ever happen to the series, which is hilarious.
Maybe it was just like it was trying to be like a jumping point, like a jump off point, just to get the story. Like have some stakes like later on in the story, I guess.
Maybe, because like eventually we're gonna like sadly be pulled away from Sekku and his kingdom of science, and I feel like we're gonna like find out that Primate Guy like finds this other civilization, and somehow through his knowledge of the past, he's gonna like be able to subjugate them, and he's gonna turn them into his warriors. Or maybe what'll happen is like Primate Guy will start reviving people with like the stone revival formula. and somehow he'll be like strong, more powerful because he has people with contemporary knowledge who can like, I don't know, make bows and arrows or some shit.
Yeah, I think Senku. Damn, I don't know. I don't know how this war is going to go down. This battle, this final showdown between the Kingdom of Science and the Kingdom of whatever the fuck primate guy's kingdom is. It's just going to go down somehow, and there's going to be like hard fought battle between all the ingenuity and science that Seku's going to bring, and then primate guy is going to rip through some of that to shreds, and then
he'll probably have like some weird berserker, like, oh, this is the strongest football player. This is the guy from the Japanese self-defense force who's the biggest marine who knows battle tactics from all these like kind of. There'll be some bullshit. If there's decent gimmicks, like I don't know. In some ways, it's like not a conflict I'm really interested in. Like I think Dr. Stone said it's best when it's like how do we like come back and make modern civilization from nothing. That's when it's at its best. It's like, that's sort of the secret sauce of Robert Kirkman's run on The Walking Dead. Although it's funny, though, Robert Kirkman recently said that he's going to end it, not soon, but that he's going to end it sooner than he thought he would.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he announced it, that the end is in sight.
The comic, right?
Yeah, the comic.
Okay.
Because it was weird. He like said, like, I know what chapter 200 is, and, I'm just going to keep on going. This is the zombie story that ever goes on forever. But now his, like, enthusiasm for that seems to have dimmed for some reason. Maybe it's because, like, a lot of people sort of see the pattern where it's like, oh, they build up civilization. Oh, there's even more zombies coming at them. Oh, they're going to build up again.
It's even a bigger herd.
It's an even bigger
This
herd.
is not a herd. It's called a zerd.
It's a zerd. he keeps on using that exact. I was like super pissed off that like what started out as a great story arc devolved into another. Oh my god, it's the mega herd. Ugh. Even though like the more interesting thing in The Walking Dead, what's going on right now is because there's like this stable civilization created. It's like, okay, you've got this going. How do you keep on building it up? How do you reconnect with other communities? How do you come back from the brink since you're obviously at that point? Which to me is like, honestly, you could do that without all the melodrama and all the bullshit, and that would be interesting enough. And, it goes back to like The Martian. The Martian is not like a great book or movie. I mean, it's a pretty decent movie, but like, the book is not like a great piece of literature. But The Martian asks a really interesting question. How does this guy with like relatively comparable technology to us get off of Mars? And because, the ingenuity of finding a solution to survival and, ultimately signaling and getting home is so interesting, that is enough to compel the narrative. And just like Dr. Stone, like making ramen is compelling enough, making iron is compelling enough. I want to see him like make electricity. I want to see if he can get electricity or something back.
Yeah, it seems like Dr. Stone is trying to do that like in a better way than The Walking Dead in some ways, because it's like he's like, well, maybe not a better way. I don't know. It's just a different way.
It is very different. Like Robert Kirkman is like, loves his sort of like soap opera melodrama in The Walking Dead, and he always like throws in these like character conflicts that never really go anywhere, or just like lead to like Rick gives him a strong talking to, and then he just the status quo is reset. While Dr. Stone isn't so much interested in that, but like the question of like how do you rebuild civilization is like great, and like God, I want to see like Sekku like find an iPad and like then like bring it to these people, and he's like a super wizard.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, like iPads would have been just like dissolved by now.
Yeah, I guess you're right. They probably would have broken down. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a warehouse where there's like some sort of modern technology.
The battery acid probably would have ate through those, devices. You
think so?
Somehow.
Yeah, by like 3,000 years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
I guess maybe. I don't know. Doesn't like plastic and shit have like a half-life of like 2 million years or some bullshit?
I don't know about that. Maybe like
it's
few
something
hundred.
ridiculous. But I would love to see it, like him like somehow get access to modern technology, figure out some way to power it on, and then he seems like a god. Like there's this interesting comic that Max Landis does called Green Valley, and basically like there are these knights and they like go off to fight a wizard, and then it turns out the wizard is just basically this guy who came from the future who's like just stealing shit from different time periods. and they all think he's the wizard because he's got this like futuristic iPad which he like launches like lightning out of and all other kinds of shit.
It's like Chrome, essentially.
Yeah, just like Chrome, only not pretend and much more impressive. So I would love to see that like Sekku like contain even more godliness by like somehow like evolving to. I mean, I guess we don't want that to happen too soon. Like I love this slow progression. I love the fact that like food, like oh god, have you ever heard of this anime called Log Horizon?
No, but no, but I had a thought that I wanted to expand upon before I change the subject completely. Just crap, what was it? Okay, oh yeah. It was back to The Walking Dead and this comparison to Dr. Stone. So Walking Dead, like the struggles for the people to rebuild society are basically just the zombies at this point. While the struggle for Senku and his pals are like the minutia of like how to make all these like crazy formulas in order to build up to society and how to get the manpower to do that and everything. What if maybe that'd be kind of cool if like somehow the Walking Dead somehow switched to a little bit more towards that, like finding the minutia after like basically. I feel like they could solve the zombie problem in some sense.
Well, the subtext is that the zombies are largely kind of solved. It's just a question of time, when you kill them all off. Like I'd say Walking Dead is very close to like World War Z point where like the zombies are livable. They are a manageable threat. They have systems in place and how to check them, and most everyone is like prepared and they know what they're dealing with. So you could say that like within 2 or 3 generations they will kill all the zombies.
Right. So, like, then they could just, like, focus the rest of the comic on, like, okay, the zombies are, like, a minor threat, and then the major threat is, like, famine, starvation, disease, how to rebuild everything.
The problem with their setup is that, like, shit's going good right now. Like, well, shit kind of hit the fan, but, like, they've got, like, stable working buildings. They have, like, farms. They have their bits and pieces of their technological heritage maintained, thanks to Eugene. So they have like a stone mill, so they can like ground flour to make bread. Mm-hmm. So things are going pretty well. Okay. But I mean, yeah, that is something I'd like to see. Right now in the comic, they're like going to see like spoilers for The Walking Dead if you give a shit. But I doubt the audience that like reading Dr. Stone is going to give a shit about Walking Dead spoilers. Greg, I need to engage with you. You don't give a shit about these spoilers.
No, I do. I want to read The Walking Dead at some point.
You never are. And this isn't even a big spoiler. This is like just something Rick's going to do.
All right.
Rick is going to meet another civilization. He's like, actually, is Rick going? I forget. Well, the point is that people in The Walking Dead have been talking to other people on the radio, and they're going down to meet them. So, their big civilization can hopefully, convene with another big civilization, and then they can become even bigger as they, kind of make things bigger.
Sounds suspiciously the same as like the time when Rick had the prison and then the guy with the eye patch.
Oh, you mean the governor?
Yeah, the governor.
Well, that's the tension. Oh, well, who knows? Maybe Robert Kirkman only has 2 good stories in The Walking Dead, or 3 good stories. 1, they find a place and they make it safe and make civilization. 2, they find a group of other people and those people turn out to be bad. And then 3. A huge herd of zombies comes and wrecks everything, and then they go back to stage 1. And then those are the 3 storylines that we've been seeing in The Walking Dead for the past, 170 chapters.
Yeah, that's... Okay, I haven't gotten that far in Walking Dead yet, but, if I start to see that pattern, I would be pretty disappointed too.
It's a pretty apt pattern. Like there's like the time jump I told you about where they like basically go to medieval times, and I thought that was a really exciting development. Then some other cool shit happened, and I was really excited. But then it kind of like fell into the Walking Dead pattern of like, oh, they're just gonna throw even more zombies at Rick and the people, and another montage of them. Oh my God, we can't deal with these zombies. Oh no, they've overrun the gate. Oh, we just need to keep on slashing at them, and eventually we'll take all of them out. Yeah, there's a lot of that in Walking Dead. But Dr. Stone has more interesting problems, like how to make ramen.
Yeah. That's way more interesting right now.
That is way more. Although I wonder, how the fuck did he like get to make that little, Sekku, like little chibi logo on his ramen stand?
Yeah, maybe one of them has secret arts and crafts skills. I imagine it's Chrome. Chrome has.
He was the one who was able to draw it because that felt a little too free-produced. It's I called bullshit on that one. But one other thing.
It's kind of comical. I like it. It's nice. Nice touch.
That he had actually, I'm looking at it. It looks like it was made out of a pumpkin gourd, or who knows. But I do love the primitive Stone Age ramen stand. I do think it's like an ingenious touch, and it feels incredibly badass. Of course, we shall take control of this village with ramen.
Yeah.
Greg, can you read that line for me?
Let me see if I can find it again.
Page 20. Page 20.
Page 20. We shall take control of this village with ramen.
I love your second voice so much. You just hit the nail on the head.
I should be a voice actor, shouldn't I?
Maybe. Who knows? It just tickles me so much.
When they animate it, he's gonna sound like someone like Yugi, right? It's gonna be sound like super hyper masculine voice, even though he's a scientist. I think they should just try and go a little more gutsy with the voice acting, though.
We'll see. I think Dr. Stone is definitely on the path. It's the strongest, and you're seeing why it's definitely strong. You've been reading U19 in a preparation for our epic failure cast when we look at terrible manga.
Oh dear.
How does Dr. Stone compare with U19 from what you've read? It's contemporary.
It's way better. I mean, Dr. Stone did have a really scary dip, and it was potential U19 kind of scary dip.
Yeah, that is true.
But it's really bounced back in these chapters with Senku trying to win over this village. I'm enjoying this right now. Should we go over the ratings right now? I
think we're definitely ready to wrap it up. Although I did love that little battle thing. My battle power is 1,000. You're 500. You're 100. You're 5. Sekku would be 3. And then she beats them all up. It was cute. I enjoyed that.
This basic arithmetic. We can't beat 1,000.
I just want to do little videos of just excuse to keep on making you do this. I really love it. For me, this was a 9. It was a really good chapter, and it just goes to show you from a storytelling perspective that sometimes a really good chapter doesn't necessarily mean you have to have an incredible battle or crisis or end of the world scenario or super cool villain. Sometimes just having the characters solve an interesting problem or engage and bounce off of each other is interesting enough to sustain a story. And that's what I'm really enjoying it. I love the fact that it's not trying to be a battle manga. It's just telling us interesting facts and solving interesting problems. And I love the enthusiasm. And of course the food thing is always super relatable because food is something that anyone can kind of identify with, unless you hate food. But I don't know anyone who's like that.
Yeah, I have to agree with what you said there. Everything that you said there. I 100% agree. This is definitely a 9 for me as well. Bill Nye, the Science Guy, the manga.
Yep, I'm so glad to see it return. So, Greg, what we're gonna plug is a paleo diet book. Because now we're learning
a primitive diet.
Because some people say that if you eat a paleo diet and eat if you eat like Sekku in the Dr. Stone world, you'll be a healthier person. I think it's all bullshit. Then again, I think everything's bullshit except for what tastes good in my mouth. But, you know, he's a little fat chin, so who am I to talk? But you can live like Dr. Stone in the paleo diet. So buy the paleo diet cookbook, the paleo diet thing. I'm going to link above. It's down there. Or buy something you actually want. But if not, paleo diet. Woo!
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for watching this video. We had a great time. Like, comment, subscribe. And remember, lobster is in tennis, but don't you grab it.
Manga's made of iron, lobster's made of lights.